We should probably work on that. Hi, and happy 4th of July. Also, this is the 250th year that that America has been a country, and so that like makes it extra special. So, so at 2 o'clock, my fireworks show um will be live, and not live, but you'll be able to watch it. Um, because I actually recorded it, like 2 weeks ago or something like that. Might not have been that far back, but anyway, it was a while. Um, anyway, I am looking forward to the real fireworks later, but my husband's right. We need to figure out a way to get my, some of my pictures and stuff off my camera so we have enough room to record it. I don't know how we're going to do that because it doesn't like to Bluetooth to my computer. And yeah, I just don't know how we're going to do it. But, the only other thing I've got an idea to do is like start deleting some of um, the pictures where I was like, um, the pictures where I was window shopping and don't need it anymore, um, or maybe I was taking a picture of what a car looks like because they're a bad driver, something like that, you know. Um, Unfortunately, we're not one of those cities that has a 4th of July parade. And I'm kind of bummed about that. But the thing is that I would love to, um, if we could, I would love to be able to go down to my dad's town. They always have a 4th of July display. Well, it's a city, but anyway. Um, but I would love to be able to go there for the 4th of July parade and then come all the way back up here to South Lake Tahoe to see their fireworks. But that's not going to happen. We're just going to end up going to the golf course like we did last year. And the year before that, yeah. They start having a golf course because I swear they're playing Tonka trucks on I think it's East Williams in front of Smith's grocery store. I think they're just playing Tonka trucks. um Because they supposedly fixed the road and then it's okay for a little bit, and then like a week later they're fixing it again and again and again and again. Yeah. Anyway, um yeah, so yesterday I got to do what I do all the time, which is, sit here and do the video games and stream them and hope to make the 3,000 valid public watch hours. Yeah, sorry, shameless plug, but we're trying to get up to 3,000 valid public watch hours and ultimately 4,000. Um, so I'm gonna put it in right now. I write books, and they are available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook. They ship everywhere that Amazon ships to, and they are available for free shipping on orders of $25 or more. I was going to say a much bigger price. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm hearing loud, rumbly cars, and I'm suddenly wondering, are they having a 4th of July parade? Or is it just a coincidence that, that car went down the street on today? You know, it could be just a coincidence, but we usually don't have a 4th of July parade because we have a Nevada Day parade. That's later in the year on or around October 31st because that is when America became a state, apparently. Not, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Nevada became a state. Um, like if you ask this person, Nevada became a state on October 31st. If you ask this person, it's November 1st. And it's been like October 27th. It's been I want to say it's been like November 2nd. It's like when? I don't think anybody actually really knows. They just like made up something like, "Oh, we became a state on Halloween." Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I don't know, but yeah, that's when we have our big parade. So I'll be recording that later this year. Unless disaster happens and like, I break my phone and it's in the phone repair shop. Um, that has not happened in a really long time. One time after we moved in here, and we're still having big drama about that, but one time I dropped it on the grass side porch and had to get the I either had to get the phone replaced or I had to get the glass on the phone replaced. I don't remember. But I was like very upset because, you know, I have to be able to talk to my sister. I have to be able to um, call 911 if I need it. Um, I've never needed well, I needed 911 one time, but that's because my husband had crashed in he'd found black ice and crashed into something, and so he wasn't home yet, and I was freaking out. Because he's never not come home. But anyway, I was freaking out, and it turned out that he had hit black ice on the mountain, the worst spot to, um, that's like the worst spot to find black ice. But anyway, he had found black ice. He hit the center divide, and it was really weird because he said he like finally came to rest. Um, the truck finally came to rest, like back the way he had already come, or maybe it was Or maybe it was, pointed the direction he was supposed to be going. But anyway, it wasn't drivable. No, that was the Malibu, actually. That was the Malibu. He crashed our Saturn into a bus. Again, black ice. So, it wasn't a malicious thing like, trying to get back at me or something like that. Don't worry. But yeah, then the Malibu was the one on the mountain, and he hasn't crashed anything else since. But, um, but the first time, you know, he had them call his parents, and nobody called me. So I'm like, I was like totally angry. I had to get to a class, and I had no way to get there. And I'm pretty sure at least one of those times I fell on my butt because there was so much snow. I mean, not snow. Well, I mean, there was snow, but it was causing ice, and you get to that one part of the sidewalk, and you slip and you fall on your butt. Well, if you're lucky, you fall on your butt. If you're unlucky, you fall on your face or your back or whatever, and get really, really hurt. But if you fall on your butt, you're usually pretty much okay, depending on how you do it. You know what? I was thinking it would be very fitting to um that doesn't make any sense. Huh. Anyway, I was thinking it would be very fitting to work on next year's fireworks display um a little bit today. So in a while here, maybe we'll work on that. It's gonna depend. Like, if I'm like so close to the end that um I just want to continue this, we can always do that later, Um, so we were gonna clean the house yesterday. Um, get it even more clean than it was last week, and he ended up he volunteered grumpily, but he volunteered to take his dad to the doctor's appointment he had yesterday morning, and it turned out I am gonna start having these people call me instead, because I can write it down in my phone and let them know from there. Mother-in-law just can't keep up anymore, and I don't want them to miss an appointment just because she got the time wrong, or she got the day wrong, or whatever. I'm not saying that she's necessarily having Alzheimer's or something like that, which I would not be able to stand. That was something that was scaring me a little. Actually, no, uh, I'm not gonna lie. It was scaring me a lot. Um, my sister's dad was saying that he was driving his truck and he saw a little black boy in the middle of the road. and he like tried to swerve around to not hit him, and he literally went straight up like he was going up to heaven. And I know for a fact that um, way back when in Vacation Bible School, I was helping out, and I wanted to be the kid that was, doing the activities, like you make a um uh, I don't know, like you do a color page, and it's, like a picture of Adam and Eve or something like that. Um, or you learn that song. Well, I learned that song anyway, but you learn the song that they're using this year for Vacation Bible School. Anyway, I saw that this little guy seemed to want to go up there and accept Jesus into his heart, and I know I've told this story before, but I go, "You want me to go up there with you?" And he nods, and I'm like, "Okay, let's go." And the sad thing is that he accepted Jesus into his heart. That was awesome. That was happy, happy, joy, joy. But like 2 or 3 days later, he wasn't alive anymore because he got hit by a car. Because there's oh, I can't remember what it's called. Oh, I think it's Airbase Parkway. Um, I don't live there anymore, so I don't necessarily remember the roads. I know how to get places. I just don't necessarily remember the roads. And actually, sometimes I get lost going to places that I used to go to all the time because they've changed some things. On one of the roads, there used to be a little, there was something, and then there was a little quickie mart, and then there was this trailer park, and the trailer park had bad bugs in it, and I don't like to say the name, but if you've seen, I want to say the movie's Enchanted, and the Cinderella character is cleaning up in the bathroom, and some bad bugs help her, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, or if you've seen the movie The Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox, you might know what I'm talking about. It's the only two that I know that had those bugs in it. But anyway, and a big hint. One of them went into outer space without a spacesuit, thank you very much, and was still alive. Um, uh, anyway, then years later, when it was my grandpa's time to go, he saw a little black boy. I never knew this kid's name, but I'm convinced that it's the same person. And then, my sister says that her dad saw a little black boy. I'm convinced it's the same person. It's just it's really weird. I mean, like cool weird, but weird. So, anyway, but if you think about it, when you're celebrating Independence Day for any country, you're celebrating that a whole bunch of people died so you could have freedom. You know, I got another, that reminded me of another thing, but it's inappropriate right now. It'd be okay to talk about an adults only stream, but not now. Anyway, I got that chapter done. I had to go through like the rest of my book, and I probably still will break some things down here and there. Um, it there's a part in my book that I'm editing right now where um Nate and Brittany were at the prom, and they were at the prom together. And then all of a sudden, Brittany disappears. So he thinks, okay, maybe she went to the bathroom and just could not say, "Hey Nate, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back." It happens that way sometimes. But he went over there and asked her friend, I think it's Geneva, if she was in the bathroom, and Geneva goes in and finds out it's Jennifer and somebody else because I can't remember her name. And she goes out and goes, "Sorry, Nate, it was Jennifer and friend because I can't think of her name right now." Um, anyway, and then he goes and sees. Oh no, and he goes and asks Jesse. He sees Sean, Ashley, Jesse, and Chantel, and he goes and asks Jesse, "Have you seen Brittany?" And Jesse's like, "You lost Brittany." Uncle Chris isn't gonna be too happy, something like that. And then he looks over toward the back door that leads to the one leads to the swimming pool, the other one leads to the outside. I mean, the swimming pool's outside, but this one would lead like to the basketball courts. There, my high school, there was numbers that you sat on when you or sat on or stood on when you got to class. Um, they'd give you your number at the beginning of the school year, and that's your number the rest of the time. So anyway, and behind those was the basketball courts, and then behind that was a big grassy field. So you could play. I think it was supposed to be golf. I think it was supposed to be golf, but it was something with like hula hoops and a ball. Or you could learn how to do, I don't know, some school I was at, you learned how to do shot put. It might have been high school. Kind of makes sense that it would be high school, but it also doesn't make sense because we had some pretty angry people. Like they would start a fight with somebody, or a fight would get started, and one kid would look at the other kid and, "Oh, you're wearing pink," and so you gotta have a fight. Or for a while there, it was the one gang was wearing red, the other one was wearing blue. Um, and, it was not okay to wear either one of those colors for a very long time, except for people were wearing blue jeans. It's in the name, it's blue. So it's like, what were we supposed to do? Oh, okay. Anyway, it's like, what were we supposed to do? Everybody wears blue jeans. Maybe not everybody, but, a lot of people wear blue jeans in high school. So, anyway, um, I'm sitting there going, okay, this is going to be a different scene in a minute here. And I didn't know how to break it up. And then I realized I never had Hayden and Jesse break up. I mean, not break up. Oh gosh, that went to a really wrong place. Okay, they were talking on the phone. I never had them hang up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that went off into an interesting place there. Um so and you know, um so anyway, I had to write in that they hung up with each other, and then I had to figure out I had to figure out where and when to break the chapter up at, because I needed to make ne- a next chapter, and I got it figured out. So then I had to go and write that they hung up with each other, and that took a little while, but now it's good. Okay, 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 okay. Anyway, I figured that out, and then I got it to almost done. I haven't listened to it, make sure it sounds good and all that. But I got to almost done, and I was just like, I'm tired. Which kind of, was not good, because I want to get this done by my birthday. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, because, I usually edit my book when I'm feeling, I'll work on my book when I'm feeling happy. And at the moment, that just doesn't look like it's going to happen, because they're supposed to be auctioning our house on the 21st. And, um, I've got all these days when I'm going to be out of the house for part of it, at least, because of in-laws' doctor's appointments, and father-in-law's dialysis, and yeah. But, I'm trying not to be so depressing that I lose all my viewers, so. I have almost 580 subscribers, and I am very happy about that. Thank you. 580 almost. It's like 579 or something like that. Anyway, it's really good. I'm very happy about that. It might be 580 now. But, anyway, I was like really happy about that. I am really happy about that. Not was. Am. Uh, like when I started this whole thing, I was just like, okay, somebody's not quite doing something right on um, on Disneyland Adventures. If they did it this way, it would be a little better. Um, or it would be better. Or like originally, the whole reason why I started posting to YouTube was because people's vacation videos for Disneyland, they'd have the ride on there, but it'd be all dark. And I'm like, what the heck? It's supposed to be this really cool high definition 4K or something like that, and it's like all dark. I'm like, huh? Yeah, didn't seem right. So anyway, I started posting my videos because I had some videos from 1986 and some from uh, April of 1986 and August of 2000, and they weren't dark. And that was I call it a Danny Tanner camera because I don't know what brand it was. But I called it a Danny Tanner camera because it was on the shoulder like on Full House, like Danny Tanner's camcorder on Full House. I wonder if because he's like recording, but you don't always see the red light. So I'm wondering if like he really was recording, or if it's like wonder if he was really recording or if it was just a prop um for the scene. My brain has not been wanting to work lately with talking. I don't know why. But yeah, it's like just wait a moment and it'll come into focus and it'll be okay. But okay, okay, the bottom is done. Yay! Anyway, so the thing is in the story, Jesse parked at the ferry and and they were supposed to be able to drive the minivan onto the ferry, because it's that kind of ferry. Anyway, he was supposed to be able to drive the minivan onto the ferry and go over to Scotland and then go to Ashley and Chantal's grandma's house, grandma and grandpa's house, and and it turns out it wasn't open. So he calls up Hayden, and Hayden's like, "Tell me you're going to make it." And Jesse's like, I didn't think to call to see if they were going to be open. And they're, you know, and they're not. So he didn't say it in those exact words, but, anyway, um, definitely he didn't think to call. And, he said, so unless somebody got a speedboat for Christmas and it's not us, we're not going to make it. Well, it turns out that Hayden's brother Lance, I gave Hayden a new voice, by the way. I didn't like the other one. I couldn't understand it most of the time. And so I gave him a voice that sounds similar, but a lot easier to understand. Oops. Okay. So anyway, Hayden pulls the phone away from his ear, and, because most people don't have it on speakerphone, they hold it up to their ear. But with me, I have to have it on speakerphone because I can't hear otherwise. I don't understand this, but yeah, I can't hear otherwise. It's just really hard for me. So anyway, Lance is like, yeah, if we can get a vehicle, we can go over there, because he got dropped off by his wife, who conveniently left the presents for Morgan, Hayden, and all of their 13 kids over at um, over in, over at her parents' house. You know, uh, accidentally left them there on purpose, was how it was said. So instead of letting Morgan, instead of letting the kids play with Morgan's kids, she took them with her. So we don't know how many kids she has, because I didn't bother to write it in. How many kids her and Lance have, but yeah, I didn't develop that. I thought I had, and then it turns out, nope. But anyway, that is part of the next chapter. Hayden explains what they're gonna do, and then they say bye and hang up. I couldn't think of a better way to word it, so that's how it ended up getting worded. I might come up with something at a later date. That sounds a lot better than just they said bye and hang up and hung up. But at the moment, it's not figured out yet. I found out that the audio version is a little too wordy. because there's this one scene where Adam comes over, and then this is in the audio version. Adam comes over for dinner, and then all of a sudden they're taking him to the airport. And I'm like, well, what happened? Because there's this, um, because like all of a sudden they're taking him to the airport. There's supposed to be a part in there where they're talking to Adam's aunt on the phone. Well, it wasn't there, and then you keep reading, and that's when Adam actually came over, and um, that's when Adam actually came over, and they're having dinner, and they have the conversation with the aunt, and and they go down and get the motorcycle, and they come back up, and why it had to be the motorcycle, I have no idea. But anyway, because I think the car would have been would have been faster, but maybe Morgan's got like a secret motorcycle booster in there or something. I have no idea. I didn't really develop that. I had a dream, and she was, you know, they were riding the motorcycle, so I'm like, it's got to be the motorcycle then. So anyway, I gotta go and fix that one these days to where it doesn't sound confused, because I think I had that way in the book, so I just did it, and then I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. So I either have to go and fix that chapter, or I've got to just fix the audio version, because I think I fixed the chapter. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure I fixed the chapter. Anyway, we left off yesterday. There was like 20 houses left. And so if I can do another 7 today, and like if I can get this chapter done, and then the next chapter done, then maybe I can get on here and do something. See, the thing is, I would love to go to Costco, but they're probably closed today. They're definitely going to be closed tomorrow. Well, I think they'll be closed tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just hoping I can get this chapter finalized, and then the next chapter done. It got into, because I break it down scene by scene, so it got down to this chapter's 2 pages, this chapter's 3 pages. Not very long chapters. But I know that I thought I had the scene where they're actually sitting down having dinner in there, and Sean and Jesse are actually bugging the heck out of um future grandma-in-law and future grandpa-in-law, because, they're being mean to Sean and Jesse. Well, they're being mean back by, um, every time one of them talks, the other one talks. Like, say Sean starts the conversation, and then Jesse says something, and then Sean says something, and then Jesse, and then Sean, and then Jesse, and then Sean. And they're doing that on purpose. I would think that that would be a twin thing, so I wrote it in. That, like, I got the idea from. I got the idea um, from I don't know if I made that up, or if I heard that as maybe I just made it up, but it could be that my husband told me a story about a set of twins at school. Um, I can't remember, but anyway, or maybe I saw it on the movie, but I don't think so. Um, anyway, I have it at one point in time, a set of twins, maybe Sean and Jesse. They have a substitute teacher, and anytime the teacher calls Sean and Jesse answer, and anytime they call Jesse, they both answer. Because they're twins. You know, they're being brats because they're twins. Well, anyway, I don't know that all twins are like that, and maybe that twin thing where, like, um where the one uh the one goes to answer the question and they both say it at the same time, or like maybe one of them has laryngitis and the other one can say, "Oh, Sean says this," um maybe that's not for real, but I made it for real in my book. Usually I don't go with fantasy things. I go with stuff that I know is for real. But in that case, I just love the idea. So, I think I got that from, even though I hadn't seen it until I was an adult, but, the Witch Mountain movies, Escape from Witch Mountain and, Return to Witch Mountain, or maybe it's the other way around. But anyway, it turns out, in that movie, it turns out that, like, everybody has a twin, and in this case, it was a boy-girl twin thing. They're both at the same, I want to say, orphanage, and the boy is sitting there, like, he picks up the food with his fork and, puts it in his mouth, starts chewing and all that, and then he gets a drink of juice or whatever it was. We'll just say it's juice. And it turns out that the girl was doing the same exact thing at the same exact time. And they eventually discover, I think they eventually discover that they're twins, and, nobody knows who their parents were, but um, they need to get back to Witch Mountain. So, and it had to be by a certain time. And I think it's kind of weird because I saw the movie Ghost before I saw the Witch Mountain movies, and so it seems weird that the very nice person, I want to say dressed all in purple, that was trying to get people to go to the light at Witch Mountain so they could go to the other dimension or whatever it was. Um, I'm probably explaining this badly, but anyway, they needed to get back where they were actually from. They're like, I don't know, I want to say they're aliens or something, but they look like humans. So anyway, they need to get back where they actually belong. And this guy was there to hold on. Okay, so he's there when they get to the light and says, "Okay, go stand over there," and they go back where they belong. But I don't remember. Like I've only seen the movie maybe a couple of times, so I don't exactly remember exactly what happened. But I do remember that part because it was like, wow, I wonder how long that took them to rehearse that. Like I imagine that they would probably. Oh yeah, and they were like back to back too when they were eating and drinking the juice. Um, they were like back to back. Anyway, so yeah, the part of the story that they're gonna Hayden, Lance, and Morgan are gonna get together and go get that speedboat. Morgan has to be there because Lance and Hayden, I want to say more Hayden than Lance, but Lance and Hayden have crashed their mom's sports car that many times that she doesn't trust them to drive her car. And so Morgan gets recruited to drive the car to Lance's house, and then they get to the ferry, and they put the boat in the water, and Morgan stays behind, but she's got to have binoculars or something because or like a satellite image, something like that, to where she can watch them, because they were talking about um that Sean and Jesse and Ashley and Chantel were all the night before they were all alone. They didn't and they Morgan's like, "Did you enjoy your present?" And she's talking about Ashley. And he goes, "I enjoyed Ashley's company, yes." 'cause he doesn't know what Morgan knows at that point. But yeah, so I just thought of that I think there would be too much water in between. I mean, too much ocean in between Ireland and Scotland that they'd have to. I mean, that she wouldn't be able to just go and um, it wouldn't be like you could have a pair of binoculars and see what you're supposed read somebody's lips to find out what their secret code for their bank account or whatever they're talking about is. You wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know. I'm totally confused. It's okay. I will figure it out and then I will publish it and it'll be all good. Um, but yeah, I think the satellite image thing would be the best, and I think that would be the best. And then anyway, so they get picked up by Hayden and Lance, and Ashley and Chantel are sitting in the speedboat chairs, but there's no seat for there's one for Hayden, there's one for Lance, there's one for Hayden, and then there's one for Ashley and Chantel, but there's no seat for the boys, Sean and Jesse. So they sit on the floor in front of their girlfriend, and they get taken over where Morgan is. And so on the way home, there's only, it's not one of those, I want to say it's a truck. I didn't skim that far. I didn't actually read it. I just kind of skimmed it and saw what was there. And that, that's not the spot that I needed to put it into I didn't need to divide anything for a chapter there. So it um so I moved on. So anyway, um they go back to Lorna and Cameron's house. That's Ashley and Chantel's grandma and grandpa. And they open presents shortly after that. Well, the Sean and Jesse, for some reason, Ashley's grandparents don't like them, probably because they don't like William, and just assume that Sean and Jesse are like them, or they've shown that they are like him in the past. So, anyway, they don't like them. So they got them 500 megabyte cards. You can put like 5 pictures on there. Um, keychain photo, digital photo albums. I mean, digital photo frames. Those used to be so big and so awesome before, everybody wanted one. But the problem is that they get a little scratched. They maybe don't hold the memory as good as they should have. Stuff like that. I really wanted to get a digital Christmas ornament for my grandma one time. but we couldn't afford it. And that was really bad because, Grandma was up there in years. I wanted to get her a picture of everybody in the family, and couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden they didn't have them anymore. Best Buy's like, nope, you didn't buy it last year, so I'm not buying it. And like I was gonna be like not knowing. Not knowing how to contact some of my family because I've got a cousin out there somewhere. Um, what? Oh, B, uh, BJ Jr. because he's Billy Jack, Jr. But I guess now we don't have to call him Jr. because Aunt Robin and Uncle Billy Jack went in the same year. She was January and he was February. I mean, December, sorry. January and December. And then in between those two, my Uncle David went in September. And then after Uncle Billy Jack, Grandpa. So, yeah, I feel bad, but I'm like, who's next? I feel really bad. But anyway, I've got a cousin Billy Jack out there somewhere. And then a cousin Clayton out there somewhere. And we've got a way to contact our cousin Tammy Joe, but not Chrissy. And yeah, it's like I would have wanted to get a picture of everybody. Um, like my mama could have gotten a picture of Michelle Amber Wesley, Michelle's husband, because I don't know his name. I think there's more kids than that. Oh, I think Michelle's the one that has Chase and Parker, and I was like, gee, Chance and Parker, sorry. Chance and Parker. And I was so thinking that somebody's played Monopoly too many times. Because, I'm pretty sure Monopoly is a Parker Brothers game, and one of the squares that you put cards on is Chance. So, anyway, I'm pretty sure they all live in Arizona, unless they moved. But I'm pretty sure they all lived in Arizona. And they could have gotten their pictures easily. But yeah, I wanted that so badly. I would love to do that for my own Christmas tree. Talking about Christmas on 4th of July. That makes sense. Well, people have Christmas in July, and I don't know why they started doing that, but it's fun. I want to know who the first person was to have Christmas in July, and were they trying to keep themselves from being upset and depressed, or were they being a really fun person and like they worked in an office somewhere, and then all of a sudden there was, you know, a random present on somebody's desk, and then, a few hours later it was a different person's desk. How did this start? Or was it just, somebody had their random, um, not random, but, like they have their fake Christmas tree and they're like, I want to put that up right now. I want to know how this happened. Because it's not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing. Uh-oh. If we don't get these houses done, we're not going to get the 4th of July just show not started, continued. Okay. And set up. Okay, there we go. That was sit up, by the way. I was kind of slouching. My back doesn't like me to actually sit up straight and all that. But, like sometimes I can do it, but most of the time, okay, so if you know John Snyder from the Dukes of Hazzard, he was also, Uncle, whatever his name was, on Smallville. It was a Superman show. He was the reporter that stole the report on a movie called Snow Day with Chevy Chase. I thought that was a little weird. Because Chevy Chase was, he was the underdog that, couldn't get the report done correctly to save his life. Kind of. But what really happened is he predicted it. He actually predicted it, and somehow it got leaked to John Snyder's character. I know it's just a part, but usually he plays the good guy. Usually he plays the good guy, and I don't like it when he plays the bad guy. But he might have been like Tom Wopat. He spent all those years playing Luke Duke. And then in the episode of, the episode Blue Bloods that I saw, he was playing the bad guy. Because it turned out that the lady that Frank was dating or had been dating, it turned out that she maybe they weren't even dating. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So she was kind of being a witch. I do not mean starting it with a B. I mean a witch. Not with the magic powers and stuff, just, with her attitude. And she had decided to fire her assistant. I think that's what he was. Um, Decided to fire her assistant, and it happened to be Tom Wopat who was playing the part. And I'm like, how could you go from Luke Duke to being a bad guy? I don't necessarily like it when you're a good guy in a whole bunch of things, and then all of a sudden you're playing the bad guy. I mean, it depends on who it is, because I can't for the life of me think of what I'm trying to think of, but there was a guy who usually plays the good guy, and then all of a sudden he's playing the bad guy, and he actually did good. But I can't remember what, what actor and what movie I'm thinking of. Well, Kirk Cameron, but that's a little different. Apparently, Candace Cameron is a Christian, and instead of saying what OMG stands for, and they hadn't thought of OMG yet, so she goes, "Oh my Lanta," and they were like, "You know what? That works," and kept it in there. And then her brother, Kirk Cameron, I don't know if they were like Christians to begin with, or like from childhood, or obviously they were kind of children when they started acting, but I don't know if they've been like lifelong Christians, or if they uh like, not that he was lost or anything, found God while they were acting, but anyway, he um he the thing is that he became a Christian, and then all of a sudden it's like, I can't do that. Because he was acting in Growing Pains, and apparently he was supposed to be different than the way he was on screen. I guess he was supposed to be like, I think the video I saw, and this is on YouTube, so take it with a grain of salt, because people post it. People may be wrong. I've pointed out several times where people were wrong. Um, okay, I hate to keep harping on this one, but Professor of Rock, he usually gets his music, information perfect. He gets it right. Like, if he's saying that a song came out in 1985, I check it with Google and find out, yeah, it came out in 1985. So I'm like, okay. But I think one time it was something stupid though, because it was like, he said that it came out in February of, whatever year he was saying it was, and it did come out that year, but it came out in like March. So I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm like, okay. So the problem is, the small problem is that I really want to take my book Solitary and work in it too, but I want to do like the half version where it's she saying all the words. But if they're secretively in any of that stuff, then I would have to come up with um, I'd kind of have to come up with a special version just for that. But then I'm going to want to do the real version later, where all the girls sound like girls and all the guys sound like guys. And I'm going to be like, didn't I already do this? You know? So, what I was going to do is, you've got a 20,000 character limit. And I think that includes, the space between words. Like if you're saying go to the store, there'd be GO space TO space THE space STORE. You might be wondering why STORE was faster, because my mom used to, or my mama, sorry, mama, I called her mom. I didn't start calling her mama until my sister did. But it's a way to, distinguish between which mom said it. But anyway, mama used to say, because she was trying to teach me how to spell it, right? So she goes, STORE, store, store. I don't know if that was like a commercial or if it's something she made up or what. But, so I'm suddenly wondering if the alert on my husband's phone was, my mother-in-law saying, let's go places and do things, or if it was, just random spam call or something like that. So it's already 10:24. And it doesn't feel like I've been sitting here that long, but I had enough time to do Misfortune and Jeopardy, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the seventh house. It seems to me, because it just reminded me, there's a special on, I want to say it's on Disney Plus, but I know it was on, Vault Disney way back when on, the Disney Channel for DirecTV. Anyway, it was um, it was Donny Osmond and four of his brothers. I kept saying and his four brothers, but he's got more than that. They've got two brothers that I'm pretty sure it's two brothers that cannot hear. So, so anyway, they have, what was it? Merle J. Allen. And the other one. And Donnie. Okay. Merle J. Allen. Yeah, the other one and Donnie. I'm sorry, the other one. I can't remember your name. Anyway, Donnie was the youngest. He was about, I think it was about 10 at the time. And it was in 1970. And I only know that because E.J. Peeker, who is on Hello Dolly, what was it? His, one of his brother, Wayne, Merle, Jay, Alan, and Donnie. There you go. Sorry, Wayne. Anyway, one of his brothers, I don't remember which one, but he goes, "Do you remember Hello Dolly?" He goes, "Yeah." "Remember Miss Mollay's dress shop?" He goes, "Yeah." And the brother goes, "That was E.J. Peeker." And he goes, "Oh!" And then he goes up and, talks to her like he knew her all his life. But anyway, she said that she had brought her Volkswagen car to Disneyland to be in the Love Bug Parade. And Kurt Russell was there as the person that's supposed to be showing the Osmonds and E.J. Peeker where they're supposed to go because they're doing a concert that night. And Kurt Russell, she says that she wanted to be in the Love Bug Parade, and Kurt goes, "Well, you're a little late." And she goes, "I don't understand it. I left right after breakfast." And he goes, "Well, it was last year." And, or no, I left right after lunch, and then, and then, it was left right after lunch, and then, he goes, "It was last year." And she goes, "Oh, I guess I should have left after breakfast." Anyway, then they all go in, and they're about to get on the double-decker bus, but I want to say it was Brer Bear, or it might have been one of the Country Bears. But anyway, a bear goes and talks Donnie into following him, and I just thought of that. Donny Osmond's brothers, if they're still alive, the ones that can't hear, they'd be perfect for playing one of those um, one of the characters, because that I would think that you'd get maybe in trouble for talking since you're in one of the costumes, and they probably wouldn't because they can't hear. But then on the other hand, they wouldn't be able to hear their handler when they're saying, okay, go this way. Or it's time to go back. They're always, okay, YouTube is always like showing this Schmeagle looking character and they're coming out of the Mickey Mouse suit, and it's like, A, how could you show that knowing that kids might be watching? And then B, I don't think Disney abuses their people as much as Walmart does, so I wouldn't be thinking that there'd be a Schmeagle-like character coming out of any suit, I just don't think so. Or at least I hope that Disney wouldn't be that horrible. Although I was hoping that Walmart wouldn't be that horrible. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you're going to have a very happy day today. And hopefully safe and sober. Partly I say that because I don't drink, and I've seen too many times when drinking did something bad for people. Like, my uncle got into a fight with somebody and missed the guy and hit the wall. Not a good situation. Ended up in the emergency room. Had to get his his hand taken care of and everything. Well, also, I know somebody who was drinking and he ended up hitting a tree on Thanksgiving, and he's no longer with us. So, well, actually, I didn't know him. I just knew of him. And mostly because I think it was at it was either at my graduation or my brother's graduation. They had a airplane flying over the thing and saying R.I.P. and the guy's name. I want to say it was Joe, but that doesn't sound right. I don't know why that doesn't sound right, but it doesn't. Anyway, so for the longest time, and they may still be like that, his parents don't drink. But there's also the thing of, in South Lake Tahoe, one year, I'm pretty sure a few of the people were, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on YouTube, but they were drunk. And they got into an argument because the one guy had a dog, and you're not supposed to have dogs on the beach. I don't know why. Okay, I know, never assume, but I'm assuming that the wild animals like um the squirrels and the geese and deer and bears could go on the beach and do their thing. You know, potty. Um, on the beach, but you're not gonna stop them. So, but I guess they'd had a problem with dogs on the beach. So, it was kind of creepy one year because I'm so used to the water being up high where it's supposed to be that one year we went to the lake and you could pretty much walk out to the middle of it. But they say it's a active, I mean, not an active volcano. They say it's a sleeping volcano. I think that's something I would like to do. Um, sometime this year or, within the next few years. Because it might take a while. Because my husband's always working. But we came up with a book called, it's a story so far. It's not, like actually in a book form or anything yet because we haven't been able to publish it because it's not done. Um, in fact, the version that we have just isn't enough. I know we came up with more than that. We came up with like a whole 8-page thing. Um, we had a fencing instructor, and instead of like quizzing us on fencing stuff, he asked you what your 3 a.m. zombie apocalypse plan. What your zombie apocalypse plan was. 3 a.m. had nothing to do with it. Um, Zombie apocalypse plan was, and that was your final paper. So okay, we came up with this at 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, like it started getting good at 3 o'clock in the morning, which was kind of stupid because we have kids. Well, we had kids at the time. Um, they're grown ups now, but he's dang, I can't remember right now. He's gonna be 20 next year. Yeah, he's gonna be 20 next year, and will she be 25 next year? Yeah, wow. Maybe she's 24 right now. Wow. Oh, well, she will be on her birthday. Wow. Okay. So anyway, they're that age. But anyway, we're coming up with this thing at 3 o'clock in the morning, and what we decided was, and we're gonna have to write this all over again because I don't have that information. I don't think. But what we decided was, is we didn't like the hospital. We're probably gonna have to change the name. But anyway, um, I just came up with what we could call it. But anyway, we didn't like that hospital because one time we went in there. I know it sounds really stupid, but you know how like in the winter, some people get the okay, I'm gonna get gross for a minute. I mean, just for a few seconds, but anyway, you know how you have like dried boogers in your nose and you don't realize it. But yeah, they saw that as some bad drugs, the white kind, and I'm like, I have never given any indication that I have ever done anything like that ever. I am I'm the one that is always telling you, don't take bad drugs, don't take, don't drink alcohol. And if you have to take medicines, take them responsibly. I'm always that person. So anyway, we had to have a test to see if it was one or the other. And obviously it was what I said it was and not what they said it was. They never did apologize. But anyway, look, we have a pig in a tree. Now get down. I don't know if you're supposed to be in that yard or the other one, but whatever. Okay. But yeah, why was I saying that? Oh, anyway, that's the reason why we were upset with the hospital. So we're like sitting there and we're like, okay. So they were somebody at their facility was experimenting and they accidentally made zombies and then the zombies started snacking on everybody in the hospital. Um there's like the hospital and then there's the clinic, so it was definitely the hospital. Well, my husband's um dry, like he got that feeling. He went there to get his, I think it was his ears checked. Was the storyline because his ears were bugging him something fierce at the time. And then they just stopped. I don't know. I think it was his ears, either that or he was going there to get his nose checked out. Because if it gets too hot, he gets a bloody nose. Or sometimes if we're well, I don't know why that would be, but I'm pretty sure he got a bloody nose one time when we were high in altitude. But anyway, I think it was his ears. Something was wrong with his ears at the time, so that's what we made happen. And he went to go see the doctor, and after his doctor's appointment, he would normally go out of the clinic parking lot and go right, but something told him to go left. It was just a feeling he had. And then he saw something moving out of the corner of his eye, and he saw, he saw the zombies shuffling, shuffling by the windows. And he goes home, tells me about it. I think that's what it was. And we called the fencing club. Because I figured it's fencing class, we have to have the fencing club involved. And my husband wanted a mobile airsoft, plastic BBs. he wanted a mobile airsoft shop, and we were gonna take that, like, to tournaments and stuff, and have the um you know have our store set up so people could buy our stuff instead of other people's stuff. And I liked the idea for a while, and then we kind of realized that we're not going to be able to do that. It takes a lot of money, and we'd have to have. He wanted to actually have a like a piece of land and have this airsoft shop on it, and it would have been great if we would have been able to do it, but it wasn't gonna happen. Maybe if I get a lot of book sales, if I get enough book sales that we can have a place to live and do this airsoft shop thing too. We could maybe work in paintball too. Um, but the idea was airsoft because it's not so um messy. But like we were gonna have a big building, um, kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese, but we're gonna have like a big building, and it was gonna have grounds outside that you could only get to from the outside. Um, but like instead of being like a Chuck E. Cheese where it had the games and you roll the ball and get tickets and all that stuff, it was gonna be like some rides, but like the smaller version um because the older kids wanted like you have to be 12 to do airsoft, and I don't know how old you're supposed to be to do paintball, but um you're supposed to be 12. So like if you're 12 and you've got two younger brothers or something like that, they would be able to go on the rides while you're going and doing the airsoft with your friends. And that was just the idea. Well, like I said, it didn't come out to anything, but anyway, so we called up the airsoft, and um one of the people was Jimmy, and his mom was Rose, and I can't remember what his brother's name was. Oh, I think Danny. And if I didn't get your name right, I'm sorry. But anyway, I think it was Jimmy and Danny, and they went to the closest military base, wherever the heck that was, and they stole some C4, and because our plan was to blow up the volcano that is South Lake Tahoe. I mean, like Lake Tahoe. Um, we lived in South Lake Tahoe. Um, so so anyway, it's supposed to be a volcano, according to the guy that was driving the um trolley that year. They have a trolley and they have a bus. Either way, it's expensive now, and I don't know what is going on up there because you can't even park without having to pay for it now, and even at the grocery store. So I see that quickly becoming a ghost town. Hey, that's at least something where, like, if it becomes a ghost town and you can park anywhere you want because it's a ghost town, um, I'd be making I would be having my husband take me up there and making a video. Salt Lake Tahoe used to be a place, uh, making a lot of money and all that. There was a high school, there was this, there was that. And now it's nothing. I would be sad though because there's a restaurant there. It's called the Snowflake, and it's got excellent burgers. It had, um, if I remember correctly, it had good fries, and it's got really good ice cream. Um, yeah. See, my husband kept saying, "Oh no, that's too expensive." Like Denny's. That's too expensive. That's too expensive. And then all of a sudden, this was in April when we went to Grandma's birthday party. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Let's see, it's a Snowflake." And I'm like, "Okay, you're saying this is too expensive already." And the other day or the other week, something like that, he was telling me that we couldn't afford something because we're still recovering from April. Oh, that's what it was. We can't go down to my parents' party on the 25th because he's still recovering from April. And I'm waiting for the day after tomorrow, which is Monday, because I am getting discriminated against. And I know that it's like, most people would say, "You're white. What are you getting discriminated for?" Well, that's just it. I'm white. I speak very little Spanish. More than what you learn on Sesame Street, but very little. And I think I ought to know more than what I do because um, I took Spanish for at least 3 years. Oh no, I took Spanish for 4 years. Um, one one year in junior high, I think 8th grade, and then I took what was it? It was like, no, maybe it was 3 because maybe I did. I don't know. Okay, so I know that I took 1 year in junior high. Um, I was trying. Okay, so mom and grandma and grandpa would go and speak Spanish when they were talking about our Christmas presents, and I devised a plan. I would try to learn Spanish so they couldn't do that anymore. I would know exactly what they're saying and be like, "Oh, I'm getting a stereo for Christmas," or whatever. I never got a stereo. I didn't ask for anything that expensive. For Christmas. That's right. I didn't ask for anything that expensive. I was like, the one that's saying I want a board game and um I want a board game and I want um a board game and a DVD and um I don't know, a set of color pencils or something like that. And my sister 1 year was like, "I want a stereo," and she got it. And I mean, it wasn't a stereo; it was like a boom box. Um, but yeah, she got it, and I was like, if I would have asked for that, I wouldn't have gotten it. I don't know, but it was expensive. It was like the only thing that she got that year, I think. Okay, so we got one house, two house. Oh no. Oh, maybe that's what I was talking about. That one's needing to be bamboo also, and that is usually a very rare color for house. I mean, for a two-story. I don't know if you could make bamboo into a two-story in real life, but here it seems to be a very rare color for a house. Wow. Okay, so I was only gonna go until 11 again. Because I really want to put my story together and I need to go upstairs. Um, I need to have breakfast. Stuff like that. And, anyway. Anyway, I was going to stop, but apparently I need to keep going because I've got to finish this house. And I got to finish the next one, and then I got to work on the two-story. Wow. I wasn't going to do that. I really wasn't. So how about after I finish the front of this house, we go and have me go upstairs and take care of that, and then yeah, yesterday I was trying to get my husband to go to Costco and get me a hot dog and then bring it to me around 2 o'clock or something like that. And he didn't bring it until like 4. No, and it was 3 something actually. And anyway, I ended up having the leftover rice to go with my peanut butter toast, and then he brought the hot dog, and it was like, okay. Oh, I said I was gonna stop so I can go upstairs real quick. Okay, hold on. There. I will be back. I'm back. I found out. Okay, so I'm not the skinniest person in the world, but I'm not like, you know, except for when I'm sore, ride around the electric cart. Or like Diddley Dursley. You know, it's just, I don't know if those pants were old or what, but anyway, they had a hole in them in a very embarrassing spot, so had to throw them away. Um, Glad I found out now instead of, like when I'm out and about. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go upstairs and find a pair of shorts. Isn't that gonna be fun? I mean, it's summer. It makes sense. Shorts. I was only wearing pants because I had to wear something that day. I took my shower and I couldn't find any shorts because I guess they were all in the wash, and I mean, all in the laundry hamper, and it turned out that that's exactly what happened. Um, there we go. Because I was doing laundry yesterday, and I'm like, oh, there's where all my shorts are. I'm hoping that at least one of those pairs isn't one of those that feels like it's gonna fall off my rear end, but yeah. Because, I would buy this pair of shorts at this time, and I'd be a little bigger or a little skinnier than I normally am, and so I've got a lot of wardrobe malfunctions on that score where they feel like they're going to fall off, but they don't. They just feel like they are. Like, especially if I put my cell phone in my back pocket and I have my wallet in the other back pocket. Yeah. Anyway. Hey, and at least if we move, I can go and, have a video where it's like, look, this is our new place, and isn't it grand? And I mean, isn't it nice? But the thing is that they're supposed to be auctioning our house on the 21st, and the big problem is that we don't have a hope of finding a place between now and then. So they're actually the realtor is actually asking for an extension for us, and hopefully we won't have to move until like after my birthday. Still gonna ruin my birthday though. Or like the thing's gonna be that we're gonna end up moving in with mother-in-law and father-in-law, and I can't um I can't be sitting there in their living room doing what I'm doing now because they've only got room for one TV unless they go and set up my desk on their desk, but I don't like their desk. And my desk wouldn't fit where their desk is. So, yeah, it's a big thing and very annoying. But, I don't think I could stand that again. and our cats would be stuck in the bedroom because we'd be taking over that classroom. Um, anyway, mother-in-law and father-in-law usually have father-in-law working, and right now he can't. So, right now he cannot work. He's on dialysis, and apparently that makes you very woozy, because they're literally taking your blood out and putting it back in. So, um, it's a 5-hour process, and apparently nobody sees that my phone number's on there too. But if they called my number, then, it probably would have said, no, you don't need to talk to those people because it likes to block everybody. Except for the people that I deem worthy of having in my contacts list. But it likes to block everybody else, and it's like, well, what if that was Publishers Clearinghouse? What if they were like, oh, we finally see you have a house. Okay, we'll go to the house and we'll give you the $1 million or whatever it is that they're giving nowadays, and I'll get to meet Wayne Brady or whoever's doing it now, and it'd be really cool. Last time I saw a commercial for Publishers Clearinghouse, it was Wayne Brady, but I don't know who it is now. Okay, so it's 11:09 and we only have uh 3 sides of this house done and the roof. I'm being time girl because I know that it says I stream between 8 and noon, and I've got to go on there. I found out I've got to go on there and trade out um trade out Zoo Tycoon for Clue on my description of what I play, and or tags of what I play. Thing is that somebody went on there yesterday and said that it still said golf with your friends, and they're like, this is not golf with your friends. And it's like, I understand that, but I looked on it and it said Pac-Man, and the way the person, I don't know that it was a guy, so the way that the person worded it made it sound like they didn't know Pac-Man. And I'm like, is there really somebody out there who doesn't know Pac-Man? Wow. That's just a revelation to me because we've had, um, me and my husband have had Pac-Man in our lives, like, all, all through our lives. I think Pac-Man and my husband came out the same year. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it came out the same year, and it's just like unfathomable to me that somebody, like unthinkable, it's like, whoa, that somebody would not know Pac-Man. Um, the other day, somebody was saying something about, that my thing didn't say what the name of the game was. And it's like, okay, so anytime that I'm playing a game and I've got to go and fix something because, fix my Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy because, it still says 6-3 and it was made today, 6-4. So, 7-4. You know what? I think it still said 6. Wow. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go and change the dates um on some of my videos. But anyway, we're um yeah, I lost what I was saying. Oh, anyway, so they were talking like they didn't. I mean, I misunderstood it that they didn't know what Pac-Man was, and they was like, I know Pac-Man, but it didn't say the name of the game. Well, I always okay, so like for Pac-Man, I'll put Pac-Man, and then as an example, I'll put 07 hyphen 04 hyphen 2026, and then or no, I'll usually put 26, not 2026. Um, and then I will put the actual name of the game, so it'll say Pac-Man Museum after that. That's just how I do things. And I guess this guy didn't understand that because it was there, right there, in black letters. I want to say black letters. Anyway, whatever color. And he just didn't understand that. He hasn't said anything since. And then yesterday, somebody was saying, hey, it still says golf with your friends, but this is obviously not golf with your friends. I didn't know if he didn't know Pac-Man or if he was like, I think it's Pac-Man, but what if she doesn't know it's Pac-Man? You know, I mean, obviously I know it's Pac-Man because I've been playing it. I think the Xbox version cheats, but that's different. I'm supposed to be like getting a certain amount of points in each game, and then I can get more of the arcade games, and one of them will be Mrs. Pac-Man. There's a possibility that I have Mrs. Pac-Man already, but I don't think I do. But anyway, you're supposed to get enough points in each one, and I can't seem to get enough points playing Pac-Man to save my life, so. Like literally, if a gunman came into my house and said, you get 20,000 points or I'm gonna shoot you, I would be shot. Um, I thought I was like so good at that game, and then, well, I realized I was good at Mrs. Pac-Man. But like I remember being so good at that game on Game Boy Color. I was on like level 20 at the very least. It's probably higher than that. And I just couldn't get any higher. I mean, I can't get like to level 2 on Xbox. I just can't. I don't know why. So, anyway, I've got to do the litter boxes today because I was going to do them yesterday and ran out of time. Um, I did, like I said, I did give myself um, the deadline of getting it done by my birthday, but I don't think that's going to happen with all the stuff that's been happening lately. I got to take my in-laws to their appointments um, and yesterday we were trying to find a, an appointment, and it turned out it was my father-in-law's appointment, but it's at the same time his dialysis is. So she's gonna wait until Monday and try to try to reschedule it. Because the only way that I could see that appointment going on at the time that's supposed to be going on is for um it's Dr. Sarah, but I can't remember what her last name is, and it doesn't really matter because I wouldn't want to put that on here. So we'll just call her Dr. Sarah. Um, if Dr. Sarah lost her mind and decided to go to the dialysis clinic so she could, talk to Michael about all the stuff that she needs to talk to him about, that's not going to happen, I'm sure. So, um, anyway, like dialysis starts at 3 and, um, the doctor's appointment starts at 4. So, dialysis is always 5 hours, which was pretty good, except for that um, we should have picked him up at 7:30 yesterday. We're still trying to work out all the kinks in that one. I'm actually going to tell the dialysis people, could you please bother to call me? I know I'm last on the list and all that. Because, you know, mother-in-law dictates that she has to be called. Well, that makes sense. That's fine. She's, the wife of the patient, so that's cool. But then she goes and dictates that, her little Mikey, swear she still thinks he's 4 years old. Anyway, he has to be called next, and then, daughter-in-law's only on there because me and father-in-law uh decided it. So we put like me in a little corner on the page somewhere, and I think I'm gonna just tell them, could you please have them call me? Because, like, I am mentally attached to my phone. Um, I had, I crashed our car into Cave Rock, and it doesn't matter which phone it is. If I get a new phone, I'm still gonna be mentally attached to it that way. Um, anyway, between Carson City, Nevada, and South Lake Tahoe, California, there is a part of it's in California, part of it's in Nevada. But anyway, there's a rock formation where they put a tunnel, and it's called Cave Rock. And I was trying to share the road with the idiot behind me who was like gonna crash into me. I was trying to make it to where I wasn't gonna get hurt, or end up in the lake. Um, I was like so afraid that I was gonna, go and hit it, that he was gonna hit me. He was gonna hit a tree, and I mean, I was gonna end up going off the road and hit a tree, and then hit the next tree and the next tree, and then all of a sudden the car's in the lake, or the truck's in the lake. I think we were driving the truck at the time. No, I was driving the Subaru. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm starting to get to where the details are a little fuzzy. This is why I write things down. But anyway, well, I don't write things down. I type them down. So, the other day I was telling my mother-in-law that I wrote down the information that she gave me and made sure it was in the calendar. And I said right, but I put it in quote marks because I didn't write it. I typed it. I don't like lying to people, so um, so put I I said I wrote them down, But, like I said, that was in quote marks because I don't like telling not truths, untruths, however you word that. Um, I don't like doing that. So that's how I wrote it, and she did not understand. I mean, she got what I was saying, but she didn't really understand. And there was like more to that conversation, and she didn't get it, and she kept on about it, and it was crazy. Oh, anyway, I was saying about John Schneider earlier. He's got a YouTube channel, and it's Drinks with Dee Dee and John. He had another one. I don't remember what it was called, but it was with his wife who passed away, 2024 question mark. Um, and it looked like, okay, seriously, it looked like he was having a mental breakdown and he wanted to be with her and he was gonna, I was really worried that, we were all gonna lose a great actor. But then he found Dee Dee. So, I was kind of like praying that God would find another solution, and he did. He found Dee Dee. I think it turns out that Dee Dee's husband died of cancer or something like that, and John's John's wife. I said Dee Dee's husband, right? Okay. Anyway, John's wife died of cancer, and they were at a thing together, and I don't remember what he said the thing was, but they were at a thing together, and they started talking, and they knew each other already, but like all of a sudden it was like, oh, you're single, I'm single. Yeah. I don't think it was quite that, quite like that, but it was like 3 months. I want to say it was like 3 months later. It wasn't very long. Anyway, they got married, and except for that they interrupt each other every single time they talk, it seems to be a marriage that's working. I really wish they would stop the drinking part and just be Dee Dee and John, um but anyway, he's doing a thing. It may be starting. Oh, it's probably going to be starting Thursday. Um, where they're showing. They did a 50-state tour, and they're going to be showing everything off on Thursdays. I could have sworn that they did it on Fridays or Wednesdays or something like that before. One day before, but they're doing it on Thursdays now. And so like I love watching them, but I'm usually too busy. So I have to go and put it in the video queue line, and I get to watch them on, like maybe Tuesday or Wednesday or uh 2 weeks from Thursday or something like that. It's kind of annoying, but that's when I get to see them. Um, anyway, like when you have a favorite actor, it's kind of like having a brother or sister, a cousin, probably a cousin because, they're like not actually part of your family, but, it's kind of like having a cousin and you want them to be happy, you know? And like as soon as I saw that he was very unhappy, I was kind of, saying, God, please, fix this, make it be to where he's not gonna go out like Robin Williams. And Well, that's the rumor anyway. The way that they were talking, though, in that video that I saw, it sounded like somebody could have came in. Like it doesn't take much to go and get a house key. And, I'm just saying, but Walmart's not going to question you if you say it's your house, if it's your house key and you just need a second copy of it. I'm not picking on them. I'm really not. But, they're not going to question you as long as you got the money to pay for the key. So, like, I'm just saying, I'm not saying I'm not spreading rumors and saying, what if it was the gardener or something like that. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that, you know, um, I am personally thinking it's just, like a crazed fan. But, like the way it was and the way that they were talking on that video I saw, it didn't sound like, it didn't sound like he was an unhappy person and nobody had noticed. It sounded more like somebody had waited for the wife and kids to be away and, you know, crazed fan time. Oh, what was that? I don't know. There was something I was watching. Um, Something. Oh, might have been Pirates of the Caribbean 2. Yeah, it might have been Pirates of the Caribbean 2. I think there was something else too though. But anyway, they want to uh they wanted to unalive him to release his spirit, and then they personally were going to eat him, but the other thing, that's not what the issue was. um I mean, they wanted to unalive him to release his spirit, or her, whoever the character was. But they didn't want to eat him in that other one. But anyway, I'm thinking it could have been something like that. Creepy as that is. Like they wanted to release the laughter into the world, but did it in the very worst way possible. I don't know. It's just the way that I heard it is sounded more like it was a person, because they were showing a, like, like two uh, like 2 stories worth of space as a front hall thing. It was 2 stories tall. So there's like no way that he's gonna get up on a chair and unalive himself that way. He'd have to have help. I mean, I know that they said at one point in time he was manic depressive, but that's not the point here. I know this is the worst. It's one of the worst things to talk about on 4th of July. I just don't have anything to talk about that's 4th of July related. Oh, except for that, YouTube will not let me put music to my fireworks. Like on Independence Day. I probably got the wrong tune, but that one sounds really good. But if you actually listen to the storyline, it sucks. Because they're saying that it's supposed to be from the point of view of the little girl, and is she's always being told that she's in the way that summer, and so she went to the fairgrounds, and there's the carnival rides, and all the 4th of July festivity stuff. And it turns out that her parents unalived each other and she's an orphan. But that's a good song because Independence Day, I still don't have the tune. Whatever. Um, it's supposed to be a really good song because of that. Because it's on Independence Day. And it's like, no, that kid is going to have to go into a foster home, or she's going to have to be um, living on the streets, or go to grandma's house. Maybe grandma doesn't want to raise her. We don't know. It, it's just bad story writing. I mean, it's not like that other song where I don't remember what it's called. I really don't. I think that one I was just talking about was called Independence Day. But but there's another one where there's a little girl and her parents are always fighting, and she hides behind the couch because she doesn't want to be uh getting hurt, and she doesn't really like to. I mean, she doesn't like to hear her parents fighting, but behind the couch is this picture of Jesus. Um, the Bible actually says, "Don't have an image of me," but uh, you know, it is Jesus or God saying, "Don't have an image of me." But anyway, that's not the point here. So it's a picture of Jesus, and he's behind the couch with them. I mean, with her, and her parents unalive each other, and she ends up having to go to a foster home, or she got adopted, something like that. Um, anyway, she's got a new place to live, and they take her to church, and she walks into, I think it was Sunday school class, and she goes, "I know him." Because they had a picture of Jesus on the wall. But that one makes me cry, and Independence Day should make me cry, but it's got such a happy beat to it that I don't. But it's like, if you really listen to the words, that song sucks. It is not okay. I'm not trying to change your opinion of that song. I'm just trying to say, really listen to the words next time. But there's a song by Lee Greenwood that I wanted to play one year, and courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. And YouTube's like, nope, you can't play any of that. I think 4th of July would be the exception to the rule, and Christmas. I mean, as long as you're saying, okay, this song, I didn't sing it, but it's played by this person. I mean, it's performed by this person. It's, it should be okay. Like, like my sister didn't believe me. I got, uh, I got copyrighted for some song, and I had said exactly who it was. It was probably, one of these 4th of July songs that I'm talking about right now. It was probably one of those 4th of July songs. Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, I think, is by Toby Keith. I'm not entirely sure. And I seem to remember that I heard that he is no longer with us. Um, anyway, I think that's who sings it. But, like my sister had, I want to say the Gummy Bear song. I don't know what it was called, but it was a silly song like Hamster Dance. Um, but anyway, she had the Gummy Bear song or whatever it was called on there, and it didn't get copyrighted at first, but they changed the rules and went back through a bunch of people's videos and was like, oh, that needs to be copyrighted, and she didn't realize it. She didn't believe me that they didn't want you to have regular songs on there. Um, I mean, people's songs on there. I mean, it's okay if it's like, I mean, I think it's okay if like you sing it, but I'm just not that good of a singer. I think I'm pretty good. I can, I can sound pretty good. Like I can go and take something silly like the Legos are talking and turn it into a pretty good song. I have to be in the mood for it, otherwise I'd come up with something. Um, like like yesterday, I was watching a video. I was doing this, and I think it was I was doing this all silent, or I was just being silent. I don't remember which. Maybe it wasn't yesterday. Anyway, whenever, and and I was being silent, but I was watching YouTube videos in the background, and somebody said something, and I'm like, singing it. Um, well, okay, I'll just use the words "Go Tell It on the Mountain." I know that's a real song, but like I'll be like, "Go tell it on the mountain," and then I'll be like, "Go tell it on the mountain, go tell it on the mountain." I won't put any other words. I just whatever the thing is, I'll go and make that the whole entire song. Well, it's kind of like oh, I can't remember her name. Unless that's Rihanna, and I don't think it was. Oh, I think it was Beyonce. Um, okay, we'll say I think it was one of those two. Um, the one if you like it, you should have put a ring on it. That's like all of the words of the song. And it's like that's not a song. That is, like normally a song has um like say it has no, happy birthday to you doesn't work. Well, it's like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Um, I can't think of the words. I'll just say I don't know what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky, and then it goes star, 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 star. Something like that. It has words to it. But that one is just should have put a ring on it, should have put a ring on it, should have put a ring on it. It's like, okay, that's not really a song. I mean, it's a nice tune, and what you have is good, but I don't know. I think there should have been more words to it. Or like, I've got a song. I mean, I don't have a song. I have just the part um that I'm talking about. Um, yeah. Oh, it's called the refrain. If anybody would like to make it into a song, I just, I, uh, I need just a little bit of compensation so you can use it. But I've got praise God anyhow, anyhow, anyhow. Praise God anyhow. Let's praise Him. That's all I have. I don't write songs, so like having that much is like wow to me. But I oh, and then it was like every night, every day. Hey, we got to pray. Praise God anyhow. Let's praise Him. But that's all I have. I would really like to see like say Carrie Underwood or if she's still singing Leo Rhymes or uh Martina McBride or somebody, making more of a song out of it. Um my first choice is Carrie Underwood because um there's a couple of songs that have inspired something in one of my books, and you know I turned it to being my story thing instead of her story thing, but you know um one of them, one of them one of them I went off into La La Land. Like I went off into um like it would never happen in a million years land. um it really would never happen in a million years. They started playing some kind of music. I can't remember what. Maybe even a Carrie Underwood song. I don't know. But there was a tornado, and it was it had been coming toward them, and then it went away because of the music. So so the thing was that they were able to go around the there was like a few tornadoes. They were able to go around those tornadoes and get Sean and Daisy, I think it was, out of there and bring them back to um whatever town that is where the ship was docked. They out in my stories they always have a not a rodeo, I don't know, some kind, yeah, they have like the rodeo, and then they have like a dance, like like in a club after that. So like maybe line dancing or country dancing somehow. Anyway, one, two, three. So they got taken back to the where that dance is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Aw. I could get that done today if I wanted to. I could get that done. Oh, okay, so it's 11:46, so why don't we just go over to the other file and do some more of it and try not to go over 12 cuz we got stuff to do. Okay, so I try not to talk when I'm in the menu like that because I don't know if y'all can hear me. It's probably a silly thing to worry about, but I don't know if you can hear me. So, okay, so question mark here. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. 54. Okay, yeah. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then is that right? Yeah, okay. I was literally like, is that right? That doesn't look right. Okay. Now, so last year for, um, oh, yeah, okay, we're still talking, never mind. Okay. Last year we went to our, kitty doctor and watched the fireworks from there. The year before, my husband decided to, park on what ended up being a cliff. I am not. I'm laughing about it, but I am not kidding. It ended up being a cliff. It was just that that part of the ground was um that part of the ground was pretty high, and the part of the ground that was uh um yeah the part of the ground that was higher than that. I mean, lower than that was like a good foot lower. And yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do this. We're having chairs this year. I kind of want to park in like the back of the. If we park at the same spot, I want to park at the um um. I'll make sense in a minute, maybe. 1, 2, 3. There we go. If we if we park at the same spot, I want to park like at the back of the building. That's what I was trying to say. Um, okay, so we're gonna put that there and that there. Just as placeholders. We'll move them. We'll move it when we get that far. But see, this one's gonna be red, white, and blue. I don't often do that I haven't done that yet because I was watching something where Unspeakable liked rainbow roller coasters or rainbow raceways or whatever the heck it was, And I was like, I want to build the ultimate one so he can see it. And you probably saw that that one had snow on it. Yes, it will still fire off correctly. Anyway, I wanted him to be able to see it. And then I did build a much longer one than the one that he was seeing. But I don't know if he ever saw I don't know if he ever saw it. So, I ended up taking some people off my watch list because I know I said that already, but I ended up taking some people off my watch list because there was just too many, but they weren't holding my they weren't holding my interest anymore. Or um or well, technically the Don't Stop Meowing family was holding my interest, but I couldn't understand any of their videos anymore because they put them all in Arabic. And I think that is very rude to the Americans who are watching them too. They should have had them in both languages and, like either have the video and then have the video in English, or have, like have it say whether it was Arabic or English. And, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Arabic. There's nothing wrong with Spanish, Chinese, Swahili, uh, Polish, whatever language you speak, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that I can't understand it. So, like, if you want to all of a sudden have your um, native heritage um, language on there, maybe have one in English too. So the people that are watching you in English and probably helped you get to where you are can also enjoy it. Um, if I had the opportunity, if I would have a program, uh, not necessarily Google Translate. It does a good job, but like I wouldn't be able to put it in Japanese because, or at least at the time, I wouldn't have been able to put it in Japanese. Um, oh, it's Park Pass. Duh. Okay. Park Pass was having a six castle summer. They missed one though because Shanghai was having issues that year. But I don't know why, but all of a sudden, the I guess the guy in charge was like, if you are a YouTuber and you are recording stuff, you need to go to jail because you're a spy. At least that's how Chris from Park Pass said it. And I'm like, that is nuts. I'm sure that's how, some of these wars happened. Like, oh my gosh, you speak French and I speak German, so you got to be a spy, or I speak German and you speak French, and you got to be a spy. Unless I just said that the same exact way. I don't know. But anyway, just for example, I'm not saying that the French and the Germans ever said that. I'm just using it as an example. Or like some I'm sure there's some Americans, some English speaking Americans out there who are watching, those people have is, I'm just saying those people. I'm not saying ew, those people. I'm just saying, the people across the restaurant, and that they're having a Spanish conversation, and they're probably just talking about, oh my gosh, we got to go home and do the laundry, man. Ugh. They're probably saying that, but you don't know if they're saying that or if they're saying that, oh, look at those, those white people over there. You don't know what they're saying. So, that's the reason why I'm saying it should be in both languages. That way everybody knows what, or maybe not just both languages, maybe a bunch of languages, I don't know. But anyway, you know, um, I'm kind of saying that they're rich enough they could go out and buy some software so they're not upsetting their viewers by all of a sudden having just one language and, you know, not everybody can understand it. But if I had the opportunity, I would definitely want to have it in as many languages as possible so you know what the heck I'm saying. Even though, get your little tushy back there. Well, there's a I was just thinking about that. There's a little bit of a joke on one of the networks or TV shows or something like that, um, where they said you can be shot on this channel, but you have to die. I mean, you can be shot on this network, but you have to die on another one. Seems silly to me, but that's what they said. And ugh, I mean, unalive. See, I've been saying that word for I don't know how long, and nobody seems to mind. But, what if somebody does mind? They're just not saying anything yet. Okay, I have no idea if this is 54. Let's find out. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Because if it isn't, I have to extend it. And if it is, then we're good. Okay, so wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, and then not that. This. Yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. Oh. There. So this would be that. Oh, so it's 12:01. I need to not do this anymore, unfortunately. Because even though it is 4th of July, we've got stuff to do. You may be thinking, none of the stores are going to be open. Walmart is open today. unless they've changed their policy. Walmart is open today. My husband does not want to go there though. I don't really want to go there either because, think of that, all the last minute picnic and alcohol purchases, because they didn't think about it, or because they didn't get paid until yesterday, and then today's the day that they can shop, something like that. Okay. Oh, I was gonna say, why is one going one color and the other one's going the other color? Anyway, we will finish this lineup right here, and then we will end the stream. Why did I do that? I keep doing that too. Then we'll end the stream. So I write books. They're available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook. They ship everywhere that Amazon ships to, and they're available for free shipping on orders of $25 or more. So, for hardback, Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, and Hard Times are $26 each. Esperanza's Party is $24. The Island is $25, and Lessons in Love is $27. I'm not entirely sure why those prices got made what they were, but that's what they are. And then Coral, my children's book, where my cat is the narrator. She's, telling you a little bit about the family, and she's telling you a little bit about the family, and it's got like, my sister moved out, but Daddy found me a brother. I love that line. I love it. But anyway, so for paperback, my other books are my pirate books. And stories about my pirates, and I love them. But anyway, they are all $20, and then for paperback, and then Coral is a lovely bargain at $6. And then for ebook, Coral is $2.99. Pirate's Daughter and Esperanza's Party are $3.05, and all of the others are $20 each. If you're watching me on Twitch right now, I am sorry that I wasn't looking at chat at all today. I kind of forgot to turn it on. But please follow and chat anyway. And if you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Notification bell. Please get those valid public watch hours up. Like I said, we need to get up to 3,000, but I do appreciate every single moment of what you've done so far. And happy 4th of July. Remember, this is the 250th birthday of America. This is so cool. I wish we were having a parade today, but we're not. So, we'll have a parade. We'll have the Nevada Day Parade, and it'll make up for it, though. And please buy my books. I've got 7 books on Amazon right now. One is a children's book. The other 6 are about my pirates. And, okay, so it starts with Morgan and Hayden. And they've been best friends all their lives, but then they discover that they really want it to be more, and they make it more. And, but there's a lot of struggles to get that far. Yeah. Morgan ends up going missing when Hayden's in college, Morgan goes missing, so he has to go and try to find her, but he doesn't know where to look. So it turns out that his friend Jason was going to a place called Shatana's. I'm not explaining what it is. It's something that we could talk about on GTA, but we cannot talk about it here. Um, anyway, he's going there to have some fun with one of the employees, maybe more than one, but anyway. And Hayden just goes there to talk. He just broke up with his girlfriend, and hey, she waited a little longer this time. Um, anyway, um, you know, he broke up with his girlfriend, so he just needs somebody to talk to. And then it turns out, he likes talking to them. That's all he's doing is talking. And he likes talking to them. So, he goes there a few more times, and then all of a sudden, there's this really pretty Irish girl, auburn hair. She's like 5'9", and she has green eyes, and that's exactly what Morgan had, but he doesn't see her as Morgan at that time. And then he does see her as that Morgan, and he does see her as that Morgan, and tries to convince Jake that it's that Morgan, but Jake's determined that there's no way. She's probably long gone. She's already been unalived by somebody, and for some reason he does not want to believe. But eventually Hayden takes him over there and does convince him that it is her, and that's part of the beginning of the story. There's a lot more that happens, but that's part of the beginning of the story. Then in Misfortune, that was part of Pirate's Daughter. In Misfortune, Hayden goes missing. They had to party at Shatana's, try to drum up business party at Shatana's, and the drumming up business part works perfect, but Hayden goes missing after the party, and it was a costume party, so he's wearing a kilt. I mean, like looks like William Wallace. The whole thing. He's got um the skirt looking part, and he's got the so he's got the skirt looking part, and the part that goes over your shoulder, and I don't know what any of that part, I mean, what any of that stuff's called, but I know the whole thing, the thing as a whole is a kilt. So how far out do we need to go? Let's find that out. But anyway, so he started walking home, and there was a limo blocking his way from crossing the street, and then going right. So he just went right, and there's these guys with guns, and they're determined to grab him, and they do. And then, is that just dirt, or okay, yeah, it's just dirt. I thought it was like some kind of secret cave or something. I know usually they make them a lot bigger than that, but if I was gonna put together a base, I might use that as my entrance, and then actually I made a really cool one. one time. Okay, so it's all the way out to here. All the way out to here. Wow. We're going to get out of this snowy area eventually. We're just going to keep going that way until we get all the way up to the top, and then maybe we'll make a left or a right and see where that goes. I have no idea what we're going to do, but like I usually make these up off the top of my head. This one, I decided that, we'd go up a lot more gradually, make it actually work. I was always upset about the way that we were doing it before, and now we can do it right, you know. Okay, so I will see you in the next stream or video.